and introduce themselves and get this presentation started. So Mark, you want to lead things off? Everybody else, you can put yourself on mute.
How you guys doing? Just give a thumbs up. I know most of you, but my name is Mark Mercadante, and I oversee the Sports and Local Program Department. I've worked for Special Olympics Connecticut for 27 years. And previous to that, I worked in Special Olympics New York for 12 years. But I was a volunteer coach and county coordinator in New York way back in the late 70s and early 80s. And I got involved because my cousin Paula was a Special Olympic athlete. So we thought it'd be fun for us. You know, if you see us at an event, we're normally running around, doing things, running the event, serving meals, setting up, breaking down. So we thought it'd be nice to have you meet you guys, tell you a little bit more about us, ask questions about the events. You know, we had summer games the first two weekends in June. And then I have a question at the end to ask all the athletes, and I will ask that and want a brief answer from you when we get to that point. So I'm going to turn it over to, so happy to be here. Like I said, I've known Allie Smith for a long time, Bobby Peterson, Ashley LeBeau has come out and sang the national anthem at UConn and at Yard Goat games. So we're really happy to be here. I'm going to next introduce our Director of Volunteers, who's been here a long time too, Katie York.
Hi, thank you. Thanks for introducing me, Mark. Yeah, so like you said, my name is Katie York. I guess I have been around a long time. It's almost 19 years. And when I first started, I worked in our Northwest region, which was in Southbury. If you guys who've been around a while would remember, it was part of Southbury Training School. So I started there and I was an administrative assistant. And then I moved down to the Hampton office to do one of the volunteer jobs, and many incarnations of that job later. I manage most of the day-to-day with volunteers. It entails doing background checks on people to make sure you guys are safe, and then getting volunteers to help run our event. So that's like kind of the biggest things that I do. But what else do we want to know about me? I live in Woodbury. I'm in Woodbury right now. So our office obviously is in Hampton. It's pretty far from here. I don't know. Is anything else you guys want to know about me, or anything else that Mark said that I didn't say about myself? I see Allie raising her hand.
Yeah, what do you mean like background checks? How do you do that?
So we have an application. It's called the Class A. And you could either do it online or with a piece of paper, and like coaches, chaperones, local coordinators, they fill out this form where it asks them some background check questions, and it's got their social security number and date of birth. And then I take that and I go into I have a website, and I plug in all the information and I do a background check. And so if somebody's got a criminal record or something, it comes up and I review it. And then I decide if it's safe for them to be involved with you guys. And then it's good for 3 years.
Oh, because my dad used to do that stuff when
I've done background checks on your parents before, yes.
And that's okay. I do the same thing for medical.
If she finds anything wrong, they're out.
I
coach.
I affectionately call it my naughty list.
Okay, so go ahead.
So is Tosh on your naughty list?
There's actually not that many people on it. Tosh is definitely not on it. He's on my super nice list.
He's on my naughty list.
We do the same thing for medical.
Yeah, no, in medical, Kimberly's had hers done before because she's part of our medical team too.
Yep, with my brothers.
Yep.
Sister-in-law.
Yep, with Emily too. Yep.
Now, quick question though, Kate. This is Aaron. How you doing?
It's good to see you.
If an athlete myself decides to steps aside and everything else and want to become a coach though, now do you guys have to look at my background check to see if I'm a bad person or a good person though, or do
I do. Yeah, because you're going to be in a capacity of a coach. You'd be in a position of authority over athletes. They would look to you as a leader, even more of a leader. And so yeah, I would double check to make sure that you were doing everything right.
Because I've been a leader like for all these years with Special Olympics and Global Messenger and all that stuff. Because with my team, we just won like 3 gold medals, like in the last 3 to 4 hours at least. It was on that one day, and I've helped my teammates just to make sure that they know what situations, what they're supposed to be doing and everything else. Because I know some of the older coaches will try to like help them for a little bit, but I usually I'll try to step in a little bit and try to help out though, because I've always tried to lead. I want to make sure that people can lead and help that one athlete and say, hey, okay, well, listen, you got to go back and go get that one person's time so you can walk back towards the finish line. That's what I was usually trying to tell that person, or I usually like do my relays when we have 4 people mostly work together. So if one person starts off, I usually say to that person, listen, it's gonna be a lot of bigger guys who's gonna catch up with you, but then you need to make sure you will make it through.
Yeah.
I don't care exactly if we get first, I don't care if we get second, I don't care if we get third, I don't care if we get bronze. As long as you did your best and everything, that's all that matters to us.
It was very, very eloquently said. This is why you're a leader.
Okay. Next we'll have Dave Polino. And just tell them how many years you've been working for Special Olympics.
Sure, no problem. So hi, everybody. My name is David Polino. I know a lot of you. I've been with Special Olympics 9 years as an employee. My introduction to Special Olympics was actually volunteering at the 1995 World Games in New Haven. As a lot of people, that's when they first kind of got involved. That's when I got involved. I was a volunteer. I used to volunteer at softball as an umpire leading up to that. And for me, Special Olympics is more of a family affair. My wife is a local coordinator for New Haven, and you'll always see my kids with me at events. They'll be volunteering, and I kind of use a little slave labor there and make them work and move things around. And you like that? Yeah. So it's a good time. My sports are floor hockey, volleyball, cycling, and for fall sports, I oversee all of fall sports. So usually I've been to bocce, I've been to sailing, I've been to golf. This year I'll be at softball. So you'll usually see me bouncing around there. But along with those duties, I also run our Zoom rooms, as some of you know, because you come on them, and our online dance classes, which I enjoy all of those. And that's how I met a lot of you. And I also have the amazing and fun task of doing what we call our COIs, which are our certificates of insurance. So anytime there's an event like one of your practices or a games, your coach actually has to submit a form for insurance for the venue that you guys are going to be practicing at or competing at. And that basically covers you from any injuries. So they submit those forms to me. I handle them and get them done with the insurance agency. And then this way you guys are protected. So that's about it for me. Does anybody have any questions for me?
What does the whatever you said stand for?
COI, certificates of insurance.
And that helps like with insurance stuff you have?
Yeah, it's insurance for you when you're practicing. Say you were practicing, you fell and hurt your leg and you had to go to the hospital. That makes you covered.
Oh, that thing. Yeah,
Yep.
I studied that with work.
Yep.
Ashley has a question. Ashley, go ahead.
When are the dance classes?
Dance classes are usually in February.
Okay.
That's usually the best time for me to be able to get teachers, because the teachers volunteer and do it. But we do Zoom rooms all year.
Okay.
We have some great Zoom rooms. We do bingo. We actually do dances. We'll have coming up. We have Halloween dance in October, and we have a Christmas, we kind of like call it an ugly sweater holiday dance. And we also do a St. Patrick's Day dance and a Valentine's dance. We actually have great Zooms with the Maritime Aquarium. So, you know, I know a lot of yous from there, but I would love to know all of yous from there and have yous all on, especially if you're leaders, because sometimes, you know, we need people help discussions and asking questions. Allie's really great at it. Kimberly, Dan, they're really involved in the Zoom rooms. Who's next? Robin, you got a question?
So I have a loaded question. I'd like to ask those. So I'm curious to know if you guys have ever considered building, for lack of better phrase, a Special Olympics arena in the central of the state, because one of my biggest gripes, and I've expressed this before, like this is no secret to anyone here, is I live 10 minutes from the Massachusetts border. Like to travel 2 hours, like even to go to Fairfield, one way, to play an hour and a half, if that, of soccer or whatever, with all due respect, doesn't seem worth it. You know, that's a 4-hour round trip for an hour and a half of soccer. And in that hour and a half of soccer, you're not going to play the entire. So I'm curious to know, because I know other states have, like I know in New York and in Virginia, they have literally in the central of their state, they have a Special Olympics arena in which they do every single summer game, winter game, however you want to put it. So I'm curious to know if any of y'all have ever considered building something in the central of the state so that everybody has equal playing field, no pun intended.
Mark, are you going to chime in about the?
That sounds like a good idea.
I totally understand your question. And, you know, you said you live up by the Massachusetts border.
So I live 10 minutes from Southwick, if you know Connecticut.
Okay,
Wow.
so you're up in the Northeast corner then.
No. I live
Where are you?
20 minutes. I live in Simsbury. So I live 20 minutes north of Hartford.
So
25
we have our soccer divisioning tournament at UConn, for example. Now the same problem you're having, going 2 hours. Yeah. The team from Fairfield has the same problem for the divisioning tournament. We try to move the events around the state so that it's easy for, you know, it's kind of hard if you just have one location in the middle of the state, then people are going to complain that they're always having to go to that part of the state as well. I know Massachusetts has a facility with a basketball court and everything. And when I was talking to the people from Massachusetts, they said it was a great idea, but they really only got the local towns that used it. The people that were further away didn't really use it at all. So that's probably one of the reasons. What you're saying in theory sounds great, but I don't know if it would get used by the entire state other than us having games. But I see Mark putting his hand up. I'm sorry.
Well, first of all, you know, we made the move. Southern Connecticut State University was a great site for summer games. We decided to make the move to Fairfield, and it hasn't really worked out. That decision was made by higher ups, and we will be there one more year. Then we're going to go back to Southern. I can tell you, after working for 12 years in New York, they don't have a central place to do their games. They rotate their games every 3 years. So summer games could be in Poughkeepsie, winter games in Buffalo. Fall sports could be in Broome County, which is Binghamton. And what's the other thing? Their holiday sports, bowling, are broken up around the state. So they don't have a centralized place. We have, through the Michael Bizzuto Fund, money set aside to set up an office and have some athletic space around us so we can host events. But Connecticut's a very small state compared to New York. I worked there for 12 years. And the other thing to realize is, while you have to travel for soccer, our alpine, our cross-country ski, snowshoe, skating is within 20 minutes of where you live. So we try to break it out as best we can. It's not perfect. I know a lot of people do not like Fairfield. and we don't necessarily, it's harder for us to run events down there. But we hope by after next year, we're back at Southern, which everybody enjoyed for 20, 25 years. We'll be able to do that. Makes sense.
I like Southern a lot better than Fairfield.
John, we agree with you. Aaron had a question.
Yeah,
I had them
actually-
at Yale this year. I thought they're great.
Actually, because like in the sport that I usually do in the winter is usually volleyball, and I know sometimes with our coach and our team, I know sometimes like if we do like say one area, like say I know last time you guys moved towards Groton to both schools, but then that one time we did that one high school up at I think it was Fitch High School. And it's a very good school though, because number one, you have 2 courts. So if one court is mostly open, you have about like 5-6 teams to go against that one team. And then on the other side of the gym is a lot bigger because it's more different. Now with the one place that we used to go to out in New Haven was a lot wider. Right. And like when I play volleyball, 99% of the times I usually hit the ball as high as I could to go straight up because you don't want to just kill the ball or anything else though. And that's why you have more space and you have more room to hit and everything else. So same thing with softball. Now I know sometimes like we have one place that we try to find is usually way out in the woods and we don't know exactly what it is. And we have to look at it on our maps, on our Google Maps. And I also know sometimes it's a little bit different and everything else. So,
well, you have to remember this, Aaron. We are at the beck and call of these facilities.
Okay.
Because we've done volleyball now the last few years at Hamden Hall.
Yep.
But the years Hamden Hall wasn't available, you're right. We went down to Fitch High School and the middle school. I believe for the qualifier, and it was great. And again, instead of you guys having to drive an hour and a half to Hampton, now you're driving closer and the other teams are driving. So I think it's a shared thing. If you look at just one event, you may say, well, that's not good. But you got to look at all 4, actually 5 events that we do. The 5th being traditional basketball, which is in Waterbury, and that's kind of in the middle of the state. And as long as those venues will continue to host us, it's great. We'll stay there. The Sportsplex in Brantford was great, but they didn't have room for us anymore as we came back. So we tried one year at where was it, Dave? East Shore
Shore Park in New Haven.
And this year we're all going to be up in East Hartford, right near the Rensselaer Field, where they
that school I did like though, because you had all 4 fields, and plus when we did our whole awards and everything else, so for volleyball, I mean, we had so much fun. Plus the other thing, I'm not trying to be an ass or anything else. So I know sometimes like when we have our lunch, I know that we can't have it in the gym. We got to have it outside in that area, and then we have to sit down and everything else. So, but I think what we should do, like this year, when you guys have a plan or something like that, or have a person like myself who can come to a meeting and give you guys suggestions, I can mostly say to you like, okay, well, listen, let's try to do have a couple of benches for people who can mostly sit, because one, if you're going in an area where everybody else is going in that spot to eat and there's not enough room, I know you have your volunteers, your athletes, and then have all your athletes out in the gym, but we don't want anybody else to make a mess, because I will mostly help you guys clean up and everything else. So
we have a motto. We want to leave whatever gym, field, ski center we're at as clean as when we found it. Because sometimes And, you know, we clean up a lot of half bottles of water and
Mhm.
Powerade at events. It's something we're going to get back into getting the big igloo coolers and cups, because a lot of times somebody will grab the water, drink half of it and leave it there. So Aaron, I think we're going to put you on the refuge and recycle committee. You can help us collect those bottles and tell other people not to leave them out, because we're doing it constantly.
As a matter of fact, it'd be a lot easier. Like yes, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, you know, with all due respect, you know, we can play woulda, shoulda, coulda all day, but when push comes to shove, the phonetics of it sometimes is just not feasible. Like I don't think a lot of us think about the phonetics of it. You know, and when push comes to shove, you know, we all say we're going to help out, but with all due respect, when it's time to help out, we're all checked out.
Well, no, actually, at cycling, we have quite a few athletes and coaches helping us clean up.
Yes. And actually, I can say for a fact that at the divisioning tournament and at the actual state tournament, Aaron does help us break down the venue and helps us clean up. I see him every time. It's not a problem with Aaron. I totally agree. And I just want to touch on the lunch thing. Aaron. When we do the schedule for the lunch, we do try to break it up, the lunch breaks by the divisions by like 15-minute intervals, but sometimes games go faster than they're really supposed to. And that's a testament to how good of an athlete you guys are. And then we actually have 2 lunch waves hitting at the same time. And there's nothing we can really do about that. But yeah, I understand what you're saying about the seating, because that is the only spot in Hampden Hall that we can eat, that they'll allow us to eat. If they would allow us into another room, of course, yeah, sure, we would use that room. But unfortunately, we're at the mercy of where they say we can have lunch.
We still have one more staff person that has to introduce themselves from the sport. And then we're going to open up the questions, but then I have questions for each one of you. So Emily Pitney, who's our newest staff person, is going to introduce herself.
Hi, Emily. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
Good.
Yes, so as Mark said, I am Emily Pitney. I am the manager of the sports and local programs. So if you all are familiar with Sue Moore, she is actually retiring and I am taking over her position. So she's going to be with me till the end of the year. So I can pretty much be the new Sue. So I pretty much handle all of the paperwork for your medicals. So, right, we want to make sure you're healthy and well enough to compete and practice with your programs. And sometimes, well, I haven't yet, but I would help with MedFest if that happened this year. I have only been here for about 7 months. So late November, early December, I kind of hopped into the crew and was welcomed with open arms, and everybody's just so great. We have such a good team guiding you all through these games. It's just a really nice organization. But I actually recognize, I think, Allie and Dan from the Zoom rooms that I was doing with Dave earlier when I was first employed, just to get to know some of you guys. And that's cool because I recognize you now. Had a lot of fun with the dances, especially. I won't be missing any dances. That's my favorite part. And let's see, I am going to oversee pretty much what Sue did. So she's kind of teaching me about athletics. We just had our summer games. That was my first summer games ever. So that was so cool. It went really, really well. You guys look like you had a great time. Swimming as well. And then bocce coming up in the fall and bowling for the holiday games. So I'm very excited for all of those. And I pretty much would be wrapping up around a whole year once it comes to the winter game, or not winter, excuse me, the holiday games.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you guys have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them.
We appreciate
Emily,
you coming
when
on.
did Sue actually retire?
What was it?
When did Sue actually retire?
She's kind of on her way out, essentially. She just is working part-time with me to help me. So she's pretty much been my mentor. And I'd say at the end of the year, she will be fully retired, as she well deserves it.
We should all throw her a party or something just to congratulate her.
We'll do something. We're keeping it on the QT for now. You'll know.
Okay.
I just want to add one thing, then I'm going to ask you guys some questions. When you work for Special Olympics for 39 years, you do a little bit of everything. Some of the things I've focused on are coaches' education, running competitions, volunteer management. I've also had the privilege of going to 8 World Games, including, Allie, when did you go to World Games? North Carolina or Ireland? Allie Smith?
She's muted.
She's muted, okay.
Unmute.
I had the pleasure of being part of Team Connecticut last year in Orlando
Oops.
at the USA Games. It was very hot. And I've also had the privilege of bringing some athletes to St. Kitts and Nevis for our sister program with that Caribbean island. And I brought groups over to Dream Ride in Australia, which is a very, very long trip. I wouldn't even
6 hours on a plane.
It's
I just did it.
think about, write down what time it is now, and then go 30 hours into tomorrow, and that's how long it takes you to get back from Australia.
Mark, do you want to hear something really weird? So I obviously just went. We left on May 24th at 10:24 in the morning Sydney time. We got to LA at 7:05 in the morning on May 24th. So it's like you had to do the entire day all over again.
Wow.
26 hours of plane rides.
All right.
Wow, you must have been tired though and everything else.
I was a little punchy.
It's a long trip. It
Yes,
is.
sir.
But
And that's really
when you're
amazing.
on Qantas Airlines, it's the best airline you can fly. That's
Yes.
from LA to Australia and back.
Free alcohol on all Qantas flights.
Oh, we're not supposed to say that, are we, Dan?
Oh, see now we already know.
This is what I'd like to do.
Emily's ears just perked up.
This is what, and I don't think we have any more staff. Come on. I would like to do. I want to go around and have you, one person speak and let the others listen. I want you to tell, and I have written all your names down, so I'll pick you out. Tell us what your highlight in Special Olympics has been. And I'm going to start with someone who hasn't really said much, Audra. Is she still on? Audra?
Me,
Alexandra, okay. What is your Special Olympic highlight, Alexandra?
My Special Olympic highlight is getting to know all of you guys through Special Olympics.
Very good. Very good. I'm next going to go to Brian Drexler. There's two Brian. Brian Drexler, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
There
Now
he
we can
is.
hear you. What is
Okay,
the
hi guys.
Special Olympic highlight?
Yeah, it's trying my best and always giving 100% and meeting new people and reconnecting with old friends.
All right. All right. Logan, what has been your Special Olympic highlight? You there?
Where's Logan at?
Logan.
She's there. She's just muted.
No. Yeah.
Okay. Meeting new people and having fun.
Okay. Boy, they're short. They're right to the point. Justin, what has been your Special Olympic highlight?
Yeah, I would say becoming a global messenger and meeting new people every year.
Okay. Kimberly Mallon, who was my softball teammate on a unified softball team in Glastonbury. I was the pitcher. She was the catcher. And she did great. Kimberly, what's your Special Olympic highlight?
Well, I have two big highlights. One was being picked for the 2014 USA Games for New Jersey for track and field.
Okay.
And my second one is actually being on the board of directors and giving the athletes a chance to speak.
Which means she's our boss. She's one of our bosses. All right. I'm gonna go to, you'll all get a chance because I wrote all your names down. Ashley LeBeau, what's your Special Olympic highlight?
My highlights were when I got to sing the national anthem at opening ceremonies, because the amount of excitement, the amount of people, the amount of joyfulness, happiness with people that are gathered in all one big happy family were rooting for me and other people who were there. And for me, like, it was the most exciting thing that I've ever accomplished in Special Olympics. And the other thing was being able to talk to people from Channel 3, like the weather guy and all the other people. And I was just very excited to be able to interact with other Special Olympic athletes and be able to spend a lot of time with them and get to know them.
Hey, Bobby
You did a good job doing
Good job, brother. Yes, buddy. Talk to me.
What is your favorite Special Olympic moment?
My favorite Special Olympics moment. Meet WWE superstars.
Who'd you meet? Dave Polino knows them all.
I met Triple H and Stephanie McMaster and still got the autograph. And my second one, bring back with all my friends at Special Olympics for every 3 years. We're back together as a family. I'm glad we're back together doing this competition again. That's my family moment.
Okay. Albert Lockman. What's your favorite Special Olympic moment?
Doing unified basketball, and Mark doing everything with Special Olympics.
Excellent. Allie Smith.
Well, my favorite special moment is when my friends from Benchmark came to cheer me on with posters and signs to congratulate me and wish me luck.
Where was this, Allie?
It was at our past summer games already.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah. So they came to summer games this year and they made me posters and signs. It was a beautiful moment.
Right. Dan Whiting.
Hi, Mark.
Hi, Dan. How are you?
My favorite highlight, I was on stage and I was giving a speech. And I was out there and I met a WWE superstars, came, and I met Natalia. I met Tennis O'Neill there, and I was right there on stage. And when I did, I gave a speech.
Okay. WWE is getting a few kudos here. Robin, what is your favorite Special Olympic moment?
I don't know if it's a moment, but probably the most meaningful thing to me is knowing that y'all had enough love and faith in me to be your keynote, not once, but twice. I don't know if it's a moment, but just knowing that I have that support and from all of you to, be able to make myself vulnerable and share my story. It does mean more than Australia. Australia was great, don't get me wrong, but I think knowing I have that loving support means more to me than a trip across the ocean.
Great. John Brillianti.
Hi, you want to make an appearance?
Yeah.
Oh, hello.
Bertie says
hi,
hello.
Mark. Hi, Mark.
Hi, John.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. I just came out of work. I'm like sort of like dressed in work clothes. But my Special Olympic moment was being a part of the World Games in 1995 and trying to make meeting the taking pictures of the with the with all the sponsors and everything and all the wrestlers and my special moment was is like doing the torch instead of the torch run. It's like a torch ski because I was skiing with the torch, and I really didn't care where because I was leveled and everything else, so I could make it down the hill, but I just didn't want my helmet to land on fire. So, you know, that was my Special Olympic moment.
Okay.
Very, very cool.
John. Well, John from Harper.
Yes.
Yes.
What is your favorite Special Olympics moment besides always getting a t-shirt at every event you go to and bugging me for one? For 29
That was
years.
my number one special moment. It's bugging the heck out of you. And
No,
the second
seriously,
one is when I went to the sponsor lunch at the Summer Games.
Okay. All right. Aaron.
Yes.
What is your favorite Special Olympic moment?
Well, there's a lot though and everything else. Was the penguin plunge when people wanted me to go into the water and I told them no because I was a chicken. Number two, starting off as being as a global messenger by being a leader, by talking to a lot of global messengers and giving them fist bumps and saying, hey, thank you for what you guys do and everything else. So also doing the torch run. That I love though, because one, I'm also a runner though, and I inspire a lot of athletes because I've showed them how. I don't show them and I don't tell them, and I usually just cheer them on and say, hey, just do the best you can, be the best you can be and everything else, so, and don't quit.
By a show of hands, how many people here have done a penguin plunge?
Well, attended one or actually gone in?
Gone in.
No, I put my feet in. Does that count?
Attending means you're sitting on the shore in a warm coat.
I put my feet in, but I had my warm coat on.
Got John Foster, Logan, Albert.
I don't know, Mark, does it count if I had to go in and crack ice once? I was in for like 10 minutes. Does that count?
You got to get your hair wet.
No.
Okay.
I did it 5 times. That's it. I got to get some of you younger folks to go in. Aaron, did you go in the plunge yet?
I did a long time ago, but then it's like, nope.
That
Then you got your sense
My
back,
doctor
Aaron.
won't let me.
So
My doctor
now,
won't let me.
this is a time for you guys to ask us questions. You know, I know we can come up and say, hey, lunch sucked at Southern Connecticut. But this chance, you know, ask us questions. It can be about our state competitions, schedules, new sports. Do we want to add any new sports? World games. How do we get picked to go to world games? So I'm going to open that up, but I want everybody to get a chance to ask their questions. So who's got their hand raised? Allie Smith, I saw you first.
Actually, I do have a question.
Yep.
I know since we're getting close to the summer and different things coming up for next year, can we add different things for like next year, like Olympic Town or healthy athletes and all that?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. We did at Summer Games. We had healthy athletes. We had Olympic Town at Yale. I wasn't at Fairfield.
Was there something
Yeah, because I was thinking like
We had
next
it
year in the
at
near future, we can add something like a little carnival style or like a little 3-ring circus or something like that. Just
You want to bring the circus in?
well, like add clowns or jugglers or something, just to make it more entertaining.
Or you can bring a monkey or something like that.
I don't think they'll let us.
Allie, if you want to get technical about it, we're actually not allowed to have clowns per our guidelines.
Oh,
Why
thank God.
not?
Our SOI guidelines. But if you have any ideas for any games or anything, we'd be happy to hear them.
Well, we should use some like more music celebrities. I know we have wrestlers all the time, but I think it's up for a change to have like some music celebrities like Bon Jovi, Michael Bolton, anybody you could think of.
That would be cool.
If anybody knows Bon Jovi, Bruce Springsteen, we'll bring in. I'm trying to think who sang 95 World Games, who did we have as our singers?
I remember I used to see you two at Ireland, and Hootie and the Blowfish once.
Hootie and the Blowfish was the main act.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Hootie and the Blowfish. Then.
I remember for 2014, I think Jane Lynch.
I think Albert's got a question. Albert's got a question.
Debbie Gibson in 95.
Debbie Gibson in 95. I know she played at some of our events in New York.
She's probably available.
I would be starstruck. I'm a child of the 80s. Don't hate on me. She was my Taylor Swift.
Robin, at one of my first summer games I had to run in Syracuse, New York, we had Marie Osmond.
Oh, really?
Debbie Gibson.
Now,
Oh,
you guys might not know her name now. She was hot. She was very popular in the 1980s.
Mark, I was thinking in the near future having like more fundraisers to get people involved with Special Olympics, because my friends love to help me out from Benchmark.
Okay.
They're more interested in like helping out more with their events.
All right. Justin has a question. Justin, you're on. No, you're not on mute. Justin, you have a question.
Yeah. So I was just wondering, we're talking about the World Games. How does an athlete go to the World Games? Like,
well,
compete?
it's a complicated process in that we receive, like, we got a quota. We get a quota from Special Olympics North America. For these games in Berlin, we got a quota, and it was drawn of a female unified bowling doubles team. So we only could bring 2 athletes, female athlete and partner for bowling. Now the next World Games is going to be in Torino, Italy. We will be involved in a drawing draft in August. And again, we will get 2 slots, maybe 4. And most likely it might be 2 alpine skiers, 2 cross country athletes. They're not doing unified, 2 snowshoers. We won't know till August, but once we know, there'll be a qualifying event that you'll have to participate in. And then and there's also levels involved. There's a level 1, which are the longer distances, level 2, level 3. And if you participated in that event and medal, you're eligible to be nominated. After that, we do an interview process, because some people think, going to a World Games or even the USA Games is not like going to Southern for 2 days and a night or 3 days and 2 nights. It's a long grind. So I don't know if I answered your question. It changes every year, but the next World Games are in Italy and Torino, and we will know in August what our quota is. All right. Ashley LeBeau politely has her hand up. Go ahead.
How do you guys pick the performer? Like, is there like a certain like category that you guys listen to and then you decide from there, or is that a whole different other thing?
Katie York picks all the performers, so I'm gonna let her answer that.
Not true at all. You
Way to
mean
throw
like
her under the bus.
so not even true. But so do you mean like when we have like an opening ceremonies, or when we have stuff in general?
Yeah, so like at the end of the ceremony, like the performers that like are singing and like people are dancing, like how do you guys like the
so for us for our events, I know for our summer games for a long time we had a gentleman named Nick who was in a band, and he just knew a lot of people in the industry, and he knew a lot of people who were dancers and performers, and so it was really like based on kind of who he knew. So when you guys are talking about just ideas about performers, our ears go up, because we're just any leads we had, anybody, we'd be happy to try to reach out to them. It's really based on who we know, who somebody knows, who's available. It's
and how much money we have.
Yeah, and how much money we have, because like Mark said, we at times, you know, have gotten people to do things for free. You know, there are times when we've had money for other elements of things, but it kind of depends on who we know.
The reason why I'm asking is because I have friends who have the same disability as I do, and they're in a band. So maybe I could somehow get in contact with them, and maybe they could perform over there.
We would love to learn more about that. Absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be great. All right, Dan Whiting, you're next.
Hey, Mark, I may ask you one question. I met a nice ladies, and I met them in person. Also, I live in Connecticut and Tokyo, Japan. I met them.
You met people from Special Olympics Connecticut and Tokyo, Japan?
Yes, I met them. And they're very nice lady.
Okay, cool.
I was there and I met them. And they're very nice ladies. So Olympic in Japan, Tokyo.
Okay. Now, Dan, are you going to be at Dream Ride this year?
Yes.
Okay, because some of our friends from Australia will be there. Dan came to Australia the one year I did.
Yep.
Susie will be here, Lisa, Maria. So it'd be nice to
Mary,
see those guys.
Adele, they'll all be here.
I can hardly wait to see them.
Yeah.
And
Aaron.
possibly Francesco, but we're not sure.
Aaron, what is your question?
Well, I was thinking like maybe like if we can get like say Bruno Mars to play at one of our summer games next year or something like that. I mean,
That would be amazing.
Oh, would.
Katie's
Yeah,
gonna
Aaron,
work
do you have
on
a connection?
Good idea, Aaron.
We would love that.
Put it in the meeting minutes. Katie York's gonna work on Bruno Mars.
Like, let me start Google.
Wait, I thought she was working on Debbie Gibson. What happened?
I mean, I think there's better chance of us getting Debbie Gibson.
Does anybody here have any suggestions for the Zoom room for Dave?
Because I know everybody else loves Bruno Mars because he has some very good, interesting songs. And like actually, I think it was like last 2 weeks ago when I was at the track and field games, I had a box. Hold on one second. Let me show you exactly what I had on it. Hold on.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
He's gonna come back with Bruno Mars, and I'm gonna like pass out.
Well, I can say this on our Zoom room dances. I think every dance that we've had the entire time, Bruno Mars gets played at least one song. So.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Oh.
Oh, that was you. I saw you.
That was me.
Pretty cool.
Hold on for 1 second. We got a lot of people talking. So Aaron showed us what. Okay.
This is that I had at the state games, but since you guys didn't have no DJs, I had to be the DJ. So I wanted to do is mostly play songs and everything else. And the best part of that though is like I had people mostly request songs though.
Yeah.
So
Dave,
I mostly
think
played.
we should have a Zoom room with Aaron, and they could request music from him.
There you go. We have our Zoom rooms have a DJ, and his name is DJ Darren, and you can request songs during the Zoom room. You just put them in the chat, and he plays them. And we always play Bruno Mars, so you'll be all set.
Nice.
Kimberly asked a good question, and I actually was going to bring it up. Why don't you ask your question, Kimberly?
Okay, so yeah, so I say like, could we add other games like cornhole or other games during our tournament weekends? Stay busy instead of sitting and waiting for our next event.
Well, there's a couple of sports I'd like to consider that are being encouraged by Special Olympics North America. One is cornhole, and we will have a cornhole event at UConn probably in October.
Nice.
We have a meeting next week, and UConn has hosted that in the past, but COVID got in the way. Has anybody here ever played pickleball?
I've heard of it though.
We have a set, and we sometimes play in my yard.
Boy, that's sports now.
What's that?
That's a sports now. That's a professional sports now. Pickleball now.
Yep, cornhole, pickleball.
Cornhole too is sport too.
Disc golf.
Yep.
What about ping
So
pong?
actually, Kimberly, I am looking at seeing how we can incorporate more cornhole. It was suggested we offer it at winter games for those athletes that don't do winter sports, but I think how many people, raise your hand, like actually play or enjoy playing cornhole?
I love
cornhole. I love that sport.
More than half.
Maybe I have a little bit.
Okay. All right. Allie, you have a question.
Yeah, I know we have the same Zoom room activities almost every year, but I was thinking of adding maybe like about 1 or 2 that might be interested. Maybe like as athletes or global messengers, we can think of like a talent night or something, like show for talent. And the other thing is maybe do like a little art show or something if people know how to draw or paint and something, because I'm working on something now.
How many people?
That's a great idea, Allie. We actually have done a talent show before.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah,
I think
and
we've
Allie
done,
did the drawing show with us, or the drawing.
Yeah, and we actually had an artist come on that taught you guys how to draw like characters and stuff like that. So
I missed that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's something we could definitely explore again. Maybe for next year, we could try to reach out to some people. That wouldn't be a problem. That's easy to do.
That's
Yeah, we used to have like a yoga or music night or something that we used to do too.
Hi, Kimberly.
See you guys.
Yep, you'll notice that. You'll
Bye,
notice
Kimberly.
that some
Have
of the
fun at your
stuff.
picnic.
Some of the stuff that we used to do that we don't do anymore is because really the attendance wasn't there and people didn't want to do it. But we could definitely revisit it and check it out, try it out. And if it gains steam, we'll do it.
Yeah, because I have my own art book, and one of these days I love to show you guys all the pictures I've been doing.
Sure, we could do an art night because I know you guys love doing the usually art activities for the Maritime Aquarium.
Oh, you bet. Yeah, and
Debbie,
question to ask you, Dave.
how long is the meeting gonna last? You know,
5 o'clock. We've got about 5 more minutes. So maybe we'll get to people who didn't get to ask a question yet. John Brolante, did you have your hand up?
Yeah, I had just one little question. Do we have the like collecting the plastic bottles and everything else, the water things in there? Do we have a plastic? Do we have like the big soda bottles that the plastic soda bottles that have the circles in them, that the plastic goes in to like recycle them?
Do we have a recycling bin?
But yeah, but the things, instead of having like a Coke one, we could have like a Olympic bin, and then we could have like a recycling Special Olympic bin. I'm not sure if we have one yet, but that's, if we don't have one, that's the thinking of, put like cans and bottles in it, just for us.
Well, some of our venues have recycling boxes or bins. Southern had them all over the place, and some other venues don't.
But I was thinking maybe it's like we could put like a fundraiser together or something like that, and then we could like get some money or something. Then we could put like right into a fund, and then we could like have a plastic thing, and then we could like make a Special Olympic plastic soda bin or something. I'm not really sure, but
we have a couple minutes left. Emily, do you have a question for these guys?
Do I have a question for them?
Yes.
Oh, what was each of your favorite sports that you've competed in?
Ashley.
So I did Special Olympics cheerleading, and we competed at Gillette Stadium one time. And that was really cool. And it was kind of difficult because there were so many teams, but it was a lot of fun. So
that's God. I'm gonna just
Floor
go-
hockey.
What? Floor hockey?
Yep.
Okay. Robin.
Soccer
Soccer. Logan.
or basketball. It's a toss up.
Logan.
Unmute.
My favorite sport was track and field, basketball, and bowling.
Allie.
My favorite's always track and field.
Track and field. Alexandra.
Yes,
What's your favorite sport?
my favorite sport is swimming.
There's a swimmer right there. John Brillianti.
Skiing with no poles.
Skiing with no poles. Dan Whiting.
Roller hockey and basketball.
Albert.
Basketball.
I've seen Albert playing basketball. He's a good player. Aaron.
Oh, unmute yourself.
He's muted.
Cornhole
What?
and cornhole. Love cornhole.
We missed the first part of it.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was track and field, softball, volleyball, and cornhole.
Okay.
That was
Justin.
Basketball and tennis.
And Brian Drexler.
Track and field, race walking.
Thank you.
Did I miss anybody? I don't think I missed anybody.
I think you got everybody.
All right, I think we're nearing the end. And it's been a lot of fun talking with you guys. We want to come back and do it again.
Yeah,
do
we
it
could
again.
definitely do that. I know there's some folks that couldn't be on today that are really missing this. So we did record the session. And if they have any questions, I will forward them to you guys. Or if anybody here has any suggestions or questions for the sports team, you know, we can forward them or you could reach out to them directly. This has been really great. I want to thank everybody for their time. You know, Emily, Katie, Dave, Mark, they work so hard during the day. And for our event.
That's why I didn't go up at the pool.
And it's just tremendous that they were here to join us
think
today.
Mark moves
Thank you,
off
and
too
thank you
much.
all for being on the call today.
Debbie,
Thanks
I
for
think
having
Mark goes off too much.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think
I have
I
one more question to ask you. Am I still on that board for maritime or not?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, 'cause it's been a while since I've done meetings with you guys with them.
We only have to do meetings when they schedule them, their grants. So like this year, there was only one, so that's it.
Okay,
You know,
next
but when they
year.
yeah, when they contact me, yeah, definitely. You're our go-to athlete leadership for Maritime Aquarium Zones.
Okay, thanks.
All right, guys.
All right, thanks everybody. Have a nice evening.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Ashley.
Oh,
Thank
happy
you.
birthday to Ashley. 2 more minutes. Let's all sing. You ready? 3,
All right.
2, 1.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday, Ashley. Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday
to you.
to you.
Have a great day. Have a great evening, everybody. Thanks.
Thank you. Mark.